Uh, this week we have syllabus on like heat transfer, which will have again three parts: conduction, convection, and radiation. So now what we will begin with the conduction. So it is similar to like what we had what you had the discussion in high school, the Ohm's law, series parallel. So that particular some ideas what happen we are going to implement here, that one. After that we'll go for radiation. Then we'll go for the last convection. It's just only convection is theoretical one. Okay, this is what the plan for this week, what you have. So what all books you have, you can just prepare the different types of numericals. Some more you are going to get the integration based questions. The questions which are based on purely on some integration are there. Around 40% you come across where the integration is needed. So just recollect some what all you know about the integration. These are the background is what needed. Paper discussion, we'll do that in the evening, because today let me finish off the major part of conduction so that you can start practicing it. A little bit, it's a lengthy, the topics are lengthy, because the numericals also will be a little bit lengthy. So therefore I'm starting with the topic itself, then paper discussion. Evening we'll meet for paper discussion. Okay, I'll start like this. Now the conduction, the word itself. So first, what is the heat transfer? So it will flow from higher temperature to low temperature. Already some discussion what we had in thermometry. It flows from higher temperature low temperature, from high temperature to low temperature. Heat is a form of energy. We know that. What is the heat? Don't say heat energy. Call heat is a form of energy, that one. It flows from high temperature to low temperature. Then who will support that flow? Who will support that flow? So for that, let me take a conducting rod. Okay, they say at one end, let me lit a candle flame. Okay, there's an iron rod. Or if you, okay, first, okay, we'll take this one only, iron rod. Okay, initially, the candle flame is kept here. And so initially what happened, it will be of room temperature. You can touch wherever you want. After some time, if you touch this end also, this will be hot, no? After some time, this end will also be odd, that one. So the candle flame is not here. The candle flame is not here. So the only this part of this end of iron rod is what exposed to candle flame. Then what makes the other end also to become hot? In fact, the heat will flow. So who is responsible for the heat flow? The material inside the rod is responsible for the flow of heat. Okay, that one, the material. So what is usually a conductor contains? So if you go for a basic idea of a conductor, what conductor must have? So this is some very basic thing what you try to remember. So conductor, what will happen? Made up of ions or atoms. Each atom will donate one free electron. So that particular free electron Okay, it donates, no? Yeah. So when an atom loses an electron, so it will become an ion. Okay, fine, this is, and next we'll have the free electron. So what will happen to this free electron? This free electron will be moving randomly like gases. So what is the state of it? It will encounter collision and it'll be moving like this here. So these are the free electron. And this is a very basic idea. What is the state of free electron? Free electron, don't put it in order, let it be random. So how many? Okay, 6 atoms. So each atom will lose 1 electron and that will become free electron. So what is this negative sign? Free electron moves randomly inside the material. What about the circle with positive sign? It's a ion. Ion, immobile, immobile and can vibrate about their mean position. Okay, fine. So this is about the, so what will happen to this? It as the temperature will increase, its vibration and vibration of atoms will increase, and also the random motion of the free electrons will increase. So I think what is the modern definition of the temperature? The degree of the so like the degree of the random vibration of atoms about their mean position, means how rigorously the atoms are vibrating. The measure of that is what? The temperature. If the atoms are having, if they vibrate rigorously, means if the amplitude of oscillation is more, then temperature is said to be more. That's what the modern definition says. Means you take a iron rod at 25 degrees Celsius, iron rod at 100 degrees Celsius. Iron rod at 100 degrees Celsius, what happens there? Inside that, the atoms will vibrate more rigorously than iron rod and at 25 degrees Celsius, or atoms in the iron rod at 25 degrees Celsius. So therefore, the measure of the rigorous vibration of atoms about their mean position is nothing but the, the temperature. So as the increased temperature happen, this vibration will increase. At when the vibration will not be there at absolute zero. I think not possible. Okay, let's not go for all that discussion, that one. And what happened to electrons? The random motion also will increase here. This is called like a thermal agitation. Means they'll be vibrating. I think it's very simple. Same thing. Some 50 students are sitting in a room, AC room. Okay, they'll sit comfortably. I'll remove switch off AC. In summer, I'll switch off AC. Outside temperature 50 degrees Celsius. So what will happen? The students, they'll start moving here and there. No, what is the reason? Thermal agitation. Due to heat, what happened? We don't sit properly. We can't sit uh, comfortably. That one will start moving here and there, here and there. That one. That's the meaning of thermal agitation. The same thing happens for atoms also. Okay, able to get this one. So what is the state of in conductor? The electrons, free electrons, I'm telling, moves randomly inside the material. This electron, it will encounter collisions and it will be moving randomly. These atoms, they'll vibrate about mean position. Then what makes the heat to flow from higher temperature to lower temperature? If you look at the temperature here, T1 degrees Celsius, the heat will flow like this. H, let me call heat symbol, or Q, you take it here. So what makes, who will transfer this heat? Who will transfer this heat? And what we have is T1 greater than T2, because this will be hot, this will be warm end. So who will transfer this? How do that heat energy will flow? The heat will be transferred by this vibration of atoms and the random motion of electrons. So here, this atom starts, first what will happen? This atom starts vibrating. This atom starts vibrating. Let me show that. So as it vibrates, what it do? It will it will disturb the adjacent atoms and it will also start vibrating. So like that, the vibrations open will be transferred from one end to another end. The disturbance, or you can say the flow of energy starts occurring. And what about electrons? Electrons will be moving here. So how the electrons? Electrons will move towards right, towards left, but net flow will be towards right. So who is involved in transfer of heat from one end to, from hot end to cold end, or say hot end to warm end? The electrons, free electrons, as well as the atoms. How the atoms will transfer energy? By through its vibration. So the moment this will start getting heat, it will increase its vibration. And because there's vibration, it will disturb the adjacent atoms. So this also start vibrating, this also start vibrating. So in this way, what will happen? The vibrations will flow from one end to another end. And here also when the temperature starts increasing. Okay, I agree this. I think one very good example you can do in your home, but you be careful. Huh? LPG flame, all of you having idea? This is LPG flame. Okay, now here, if I keep a spoon, and let me hold it. Okay, let me hold it. Okay, this is, okay, no. What will happen? Can you hold it like this only? So there's a spoon, metal spoon, not plastic one. Plastic one will melt. Steel spoon, I'll write it. Can you hold it continuously? I think after some 5 minutes, what happened? Though your hand is away, though your hand is away from the flame, so there's the LPG flame. So you can start sensing the hotness here. You can start sensing the hotness, but your arm or your fingers and this end of spoon is not in flame. Only this particular, this is what in frame, no, or it is so to become hot. The heat will flow through the material of the spoon. So how do that will take place? Conduction will occur. The heat will flow from this bowl shape, from curved shape to the other end. Able to analyze here? The heat will flow from higher temperature to low temperature. How who will transfer that? The vibration of atoms and the motion of free electrons. Okay, clear. So what is the comment we can write? Heat flows from hot end warm end due to vibration of atoms about their mean position and random motion of free electrons. Okay, it is what responsible. Okay, this is about the theoretical idea. So this process is called like a conduction. We have to study this in detail. Agreed, all of you? Okay, now we'll go for. See, we have to study this means what happened. We should try to express this in terms of formula. So we should bring one any formula. Means mathematically how to express this phenomena is what we should try. Let me shade like this so that, okay, there's a rod. Okay, let's go for. So everything in physics, what happened? First, we will make observation, then we'll express it mathematically. Yeah. Okay, let's take a. Okay, there's a source, a temperature T1, there's a sink, a temperature T2. We'll be using some terms. What do you mean by source? Which supplies heat and temperature of it remains constant. It will lose it, but temperature of it remains constant. So how it is possible? I think it's a LPG flame. So what will happen to LPG flame? It will continuously supply heat, but temperature of LPG flame, will it decrease? No. I think there's a difference between body, source, and the sink. So what is the body? If it loses heat, temperature decreases. And okay, this one. What about the source? If it what about the sink? If it absorbs heat, temperature will not decrease. I think you should be very clear about the body. Body, if it gains heat, temperature increases. Body loses heat, temperature decreases. Source, if it loses heat, temperature will not increase. Sink, source, if it loses heat, temperature will not increase. Sink, if it absorbs heat, temperature will not increase. Getting the idea, no? So what is a sink? Example of source will be candle flame, sun, heater coil, LPG flame. All these are examples. No, please do remember, like a body and source. So things are totally different. Okay, next afterwards, sink. What do you mean by sink? Which absorbs heat and temperature of it remains constant. Example, water tank, big water tank. So water bath usually. So they will absorb it. It will not change. Or a good example, what atmosphere. Temperature of atmosphere will increase. No. Water bath. Okay, these are the some examples what we have here. Sink. Okay, this one. So what is the sink? Though it absorbs heat, temperature will not increase. What is the source? Though it gives out heat, temperature will not decrease here. Body, what happens? Similar. Go for calorimetry for the body. Same thing you can discuss here. Okay, this is about the rod. There's a rod. Like it's a conducting rod. Yeah, no. The moment I bring conducting rod in contact with the source. So what this, we will split up this into parts. So initially, okay, initially, let the temperature of this be T naught. Okay, temperature of all the total rod, let it be T naught. Initially, this is what happens. I'll bring it in contact, initial. Now, what actually happens? So we know it's a rod, and every material, so suppose a conductors, will have mass, specific heat. So first, what this element will do, it is in contact with the source. Here, what is the source? Here, let's assume that source, it will supply heat energy. It's at higher temperature. Here, the atoms will be vibrating. When I connect this source to the rod, the atoms which are vibrating, what happen will make the atoms inside the rod here, the first element, it will make the first elements of them to make it to vibrate. So initially they had some vibration. So T1 greater than, I can say T naught. Let's assume that one. So what will happen to this? As they are vibrating at high, they have more vibration than the atoms inside the conducting rod. Means the atoms in the source will have more vibration than the atoms in the conducting rod. So the moment when source comes in contact with the rod, the vibration will be transmitted for the like atoms of the conductor. They'll also start vibrating, and because of that, the heat will flow. So what is the direction of heat flow? Will be like this. Then what will happen to it? It will start, it will, as it absorbs heat, then what happens? Temperature of that will increase. Then this element is in contact. So the vibrations of this will be passed to this. So again, what happens? This element will draw energy from this particular thing. How it will be transferred? By vibration. So as these atoms acquire a higher vibration due to in contact with the source, similarly, these atoms, when they come in contact here, means this vibrating atom will make these atoms to also vibrate. So therefore, the energy transfer will take place like this. So this particular element also what happen now will absorb heat, and its temperature starts increasing. So like that, the segments, better we'll call this one. So these segments what do? First, this will absorb heat and its temperature starts increasing. And in the meanwhile, what will happen? It will also involved in transfer of heat. And this second element, what it do, or second segment, it will also absorb heat and its temperature starts increasing. And it will also permit some heat to flow because it is in contact here. So as this vibrates, this also start vibrating. Like that, these segments, what they do, first we'll give a name like segment A, B, C, D, E, F. So what segment A will do? Segment A will absorb heat from the source and its temperature will increase. And it will also give some amount of heat to the segment B. Segment B will absorb heat, and what it does, its temperature will increase, and at the same time it will allow some heat to pass through because it is in contact with the segment C. So like that, each segment, what they do, they'll absorb heat, the temperature will increase, then and they'll be involved also in the transfer of heat. So finally, at steady state, I see this particular thing. So there's a final or better call. So what will happen here? No longer further rise in temperature of this element. It will be only involved in transfer of heat. So as at one instant, what will happen, what we can call steady state, this segment A, no longer further it will absorb heat. It will be only involved in transfer of heat. What all heat it will get from source, it will just give to segment B. Segment B also what happen? No longer further absorption of heat. It will be only involved in transfer of heat. What we are going to discuss is this particular steady state here. And like that what happen? So that particular heat what happen will flow from source to sink through the rod. Okay, getting this one? This will be, what about these temperatures? The temperature gradient will be established. So here, if you check it clearly, this is what happens. So when you check the temperatures, no, temperature of source will be greater than sink along the rod. There'll be a temperature gradient, means the temperature will vary from source to the sink. This will be a little bit difficult. So all this iron rod, all these segments are having same mass, same specific heat, and they can absorb heat from the source. Okay, this will absorb heat from the source. So its temperature will increase. So definitely what do I expect? I expect temperature of every segment must be same. The answer is no. So what it is based on statistical analysis. It is beyond our range. That one. So just let's like a story, I'm giving information here. To prove this, we have to go for statistical approach here. So we have to get into the vibration of atoms, then random motion of electrons. Then there from that, I should bring an equation. I should show that the temperature will be a function of distance. The proof is beyond our reach, like a class 12. Okay, therefore I'm just concluding it. So just like a call it quantitatively, I'm just giving information rather than qualitatively. So at steady state, what will happen? Segments will no longer involved in absorption of heat. They'll be involved only in transfer of heat. But initially what will happen? Initially, each segment will absorb heat from T0, it will attain temperature TA. From like a segment B, from T0, TB. So initially the temperature of rod is T0 of all points. We know that one. When I connect between source and sink, the different segments will acquire different temperature. No, this called like a lagged, properly lagged rod. What do you mean by that? No longer further absorption of heat will take place. Only the segments of the rod are involved only in transfer of heat. This is what our syllabus which will be discussing. This particular phenomena is called as a steady state or properly lagged steady state. So one more terminology what we use. Properly lagged means each and every element has absorbed heat and attained one fixed temperature. Then they'll be only involved in transfer of heat here. So what is the conclusion we can make it here at steady state? At steady state, each segment is involved in only transfer of heat. Next, so the first point. Okay, we'll put it like this. Next again, a temperature gradient is established across along the length, along the length of the rod. Temperature gradient. You can see T1 greater than T. And as we move from source to sink, what will happen? Temperature decreases. As we move from source to sink, the temperature will decrease. T1 greater than T2. So it's a very clear now. What is the steady state? They just absorb heat, finish. They just involved only in transfer of heat. This will be very strange question for a student like, sir, both are of same mass, same material. This is at higher temperature, this is low temperature. Why can't this absorb heat and attain temperature of this? No, it will not happen. Because here some quantum level discussion is what involved here. So which is beyond our reach. Practically, if you want, you can check it. No, the spoon which is in LPG flame and the spoon and the end of the spoon where you are holding, there will be a different temperature. It's what the nature's phenomena that is being proved mathematically, which is beyond our reach. So just steady state means just get information of this one. Okay, there's a flow of heat. No, I'm interested like this. There'll be flow of heat. So what is this arrow? Flow of heat here. So I wanted to learn. Okay, this flow of heat on what all factor depends. Okay, sink at temperature T2. Let L be the length of the rod. A be the area of cross section. Okay, I'll define one more quantity called as coefficient of thermal conductivity or coefficient of thermal conductivity of the rod. So here, so X is what I'll measure from here. This is X equal to 0. This is X equal to L. And at any distance, let this be X. So if you take a small element, what is the thickness of this element? Let it be dx. Here temperature will be T plus dt and the temperature here will be T. And the heat will flow like this in this direction. So rather than heat, I'll call like a thermal power. Amount of heat flowing per second because I'm also interested in time. Okay, this H is called as thermal power or rate of flow of heat or heat current. Now, different names are there. So what is the unit for this? Watt or joule per second. Yeah, it's a joule, no? It is a form of energy. So the unit will be expressed like this. Okay, I'm interested in this particular heat. Or so the thermal power or rate of flow of heat or heat current on what all factor depends. So this H is directly proportional to area. The thermal power flowing across the rod is directly proportional to area. How come? If area of cross section increases, then more number of atoms will be involved in transfer of heat. Then more amount of heat per second will flow through a given segment. I think it's quite clear, no? If I increase the area of cross section, what happens? More atoms will come into picture in transfer of heat per second. So therefore, the thermal power is directly proportional to area of cross section. Then inversely proportional to length. Thermal power, not only heat, thermal power. So as I increase length, then what happens? The energy will take more time to move from one end to another end. Able to check this condition? As I increase the length of the rod, then the energy will take more time because this is not just energy, rate of flow of energy, rate of flow of heat or thermal power. Power means what happened? Energy by time. So as I increase the length of the rod, it will take more time. So therefore, inversely proportional. Then next, directly proportional to temperature difference. Greater the temperature difference across the rod, then more amount of energy per second will flow through the rod. So to remove this proportionality constant, I'll introduce okay, no. So what are this? L is the length of the rod. area of cross section of what? K is quotient of thermal conductivity of rod. What can be unit for K? Watt per meter per Kelvin. Is it okay? No. So this will be the unit for the quotient of thermal conductivity, and it will be different for different material. The value of K will be different for different material. I think this will have watt, no, joule per second watt, L square and L, 1 L, and temperature difference, Kelvin. So watt per meter per Kelvin. That will be unit for that. For different materials, the value of K will be different. No, let's take the wooden rod. Wood will permit the flow of it? No, it's a very good insulator, no? So therefore, what will happen? What is the value of K for wood? Will be very low. If a good conductor of it, the value of K will be more. If the bad conductor of it, the value of K will be very less. So like that, the K is very important. You can ask questions, sir, what is use of this? Why we have to study? Again, I'm telling this one, science is not about just gathering some information. Science is not about gathering information. If you again go back to Western countries, what is the temperature usually they come across? Maximum 17 or 20, you can put it. The rest all what happened almost in 1 year, the 8 months or the 9 months, they will spend at temperature less than 10 or around 5. So surviving at 5 degrees, 10 degrees, very problematic. So they have to keep themselves warm. Then they started investigation, like what are the materials available which will protect us from the cold. That's why they started studying all these things. Okay, why in India there is no science and technology? Why do we need all this warm substance? Even in winter also, how many of us will really wear sweaters, jackets, or woolen sweaters? How many that one? Hardly no, 10% of people. Remaining what happen? Okay, I will manage. Some people without, with just beer, like if you go look at the labor, no, they don't wear even any woolen sweater, nothing. They'll work. It's a tropical country. There's no need of for us to protect from the cold. Only in some northern part of India, yes, that too for 1 month it will be there. So the nature here, what happened, has given us a plenty of flexibility for us. Hmm? We need not to bother. We need not to struggle to survive here. That's why what happened, our ancestors least bothered about all this conduction, radiation, all these things. But if you go for Western countries, no, they have to survive in that cold. There's no other way. All 365 days they'll encounter cold. So what to do? That one is okay. Let's start exploring the nature. They have brought it. Are you getting the difference? Why the science and technology is very poor? Because it all depends upon the nature's conditions. In tropical conditions, what happens? There's no need of science and technology in day-to-day life. That's what, if you want to survive, you can survive. But Western countries not like that. They have to fight against the nature. That's why the science there, it has grown like anything. So once it started growing, no, then the human desires adapted and they wanted more and more comforts, and they took help of science and technology. The more inventions came, the more comfortable life they have encountered. This is a thing. So you want rank, a desire in you will make you to think. Less desire in you will not make you to think. So some of you asked me like, sir, what today I'm not getting marks? I think you are the problem. Your desires are the problem. You don't have the desire to get better marks. Okay, maybe your tongue is what speaking, that's all. You want a rank, but your art, what happened, has not still accepted. The moment what when you realize that I should get a rank and you start working, you'll get a rank. This is very important. So students will think that internally, what is the desire for you to get a better rank? If the desire is there, you'll get a rank. Pretty sure, no other way. So many students will tell Excel like, "Hey, I'm reading, I'm not getting rank." Basically, you are not interested. If you're interested, you'll make observation, you'll get a rank. Finish short. There's no any second thought. Because see, I don't want to talk magical things. That is my, maybe you can call my nature. What is that? Straightforward. Sir, I'm not getting marks. You are not interested. Finish short. There's a difference between realization and knowing. You just have a information that I'm going to write exam weekend, I should get a marks, but you are not realized it. By heart, what happened? You want to score a better marks. Not there. There's a thing. So therefore, for all your problems, what happen? Yourself is the solution, not teacher. If you talk to me, do you think that really problems will solve? No. You think and you introspect yourself. What you want finally? As you want a better rank, make observation. Internally, the desire should be there, to learn things, to understand, to analyze, to fight with it. I should get a knowledge. I should get a better rank. No need of any teacher. No need of this coaching also. Take books, start reading, you'll get a knowledge. Good example, myself. All I am like a engineering field. I am nowhere related to basic science. Nowhere related. I don't know much about this. Long back when I went intermediate, I studied all these things. Finish. Sure. After this, why I'll read all this? But I'm interested to teach this one. I started reading. Finish. Sure. I never took any coaching from anybody. I was interested. That's all, to teach physics. Okay. I took books and started reading. Finish. Sure. That's what I'm interested by heart. So this is what needed. When this is missing, no, then it's all acting. That I'm not getting marks, like I'm unable to solve problem, I'm unable to do this one. Your internal desire is very important. There's a hard fact. So what happens, students, instead of this, what will happen? They'll do all other things. So introspect yourself. I think in English word we say introspect means you ask yourself, take one paper, pen. Okay, do you want rank or not? By art, what you are interested. Analyze, think on yourself. That's why I tell you, son, every day, 10 minutes, what when you think about yourself, what I'm doing, how I'm preparing, what shall I do? Okay, why don't you ask yourself this one? Where I'm going, what sir is telling and what I am doing, why I'm unable to do the problem. You ask yourself, there's a lot of things, then a very best scientist is hidden in you. Very best engineer is there in you. You should realize it. See, God has given everyone the same brain, the same body, the same resources. Will you utilize it? You will get success. So it's never that intellectual has come by family background. This, as a science teacher, I should tell. Intellectual is not an a inheritance of the family characteristics. Means not by genetics. This I am telling you very clearly. If that is the case, scientist's son would have been only scientist, and labor's son would have been labor. But you look at the outside world, how random heterogeneous are there. Whose kid who will become? Now my son is there. My son may become good engineer or not. I don't know. It all depends on his interest. I was a good engineer. I'm not sure what can happen to my son. So since I'm a good engineer, my son will become good engineer, no doubt. My father was a farmer. I should have been good farmer. I become good engineer. How it is possible? Is it family genetics? No, nothing. Nothing to do. So the intelligence is not a family inheritance. Come out of that one. You should have been well-educated family. First, you come out of that. God should bless you with a good brain. Nothing like that. Everyone is having the same potential. Or it's all about your interest. Future, how you want. Okay, that will decide. Okay, there's a very hard conclusion. So now you're not getting marks. Who is responsible? You are responsible. Finish. Oh, that's all. Finish. Yourself not interested to get a marks. That's why no, your parents are very intelligent and they'll scold you. If you're not getting marks, no, they don't scold teacher, they scold you only, because they know that you are not studying properly. You are not showing interest. Hmm? So for all your troubles, solution is there with you. You are only trouble creator, and you are only the what happens can eliminate the troubles. Hmm? The student will realize this, he will grow. Students who thinks that still something, okay, teacher will do something magic and I will get a rank means, okay, you'll be there like this only. Yeah? Even after, along with your grandson also, you take coaching under me, you'll be like this only. Your son, grandsons will get into IT, but you'll be there like this only, coaching for. You'll be taking coaching under me. Getting the idea? Hmm? Please do think, all of you, because I do talk very less with a student. In fact, I don't want to, but what I tell is that will be very small information. Who will accept it? You'll benefit it. Still, if you believe in miracles will happen in science, God only will help you. Everything comes from interest, personal interest, a desire to achieve more. Quickly, this one, realization by heart, yes, I should achieve this. I can go for any length of sacrifice. This is second, third thing. Fourth one, the effort, proportional effort, not like desire. Oh, okay, sir, I want to become, I want a good rank. Even I also dream I should become best teacher in the world. Okay, if I just dream, not possible, no. Proportionally, what I should do? Proportionally, I should put effort. I should also think on different. Hey, what is Sriman? What is the problem? I'm muting and again you are unmuting. Huh? Okay, this one. So these are some hard facts are there. So solve your own problems. So I'm here to help you. To some extent, I can help you. Some extent, I can give guidance. But the trouble, you are yourself, for your troubles, you are the solution, and you are the trouble creator, and you are the what happen person who can dig deep and you can overcome that troubles and you can get the success here. Okay, fine. So these are the very important. So that's why no, you just read the life history of the scientists, because they will help you a lot. Okay, do instead of reading Harry Potter, I don't know. Some nowadays many purchase Harry Potter. I seen maximum travel. No, they'll be reading Harry Potter. I'll ask them, "What you are?" I'm engineer. I'm a chartered account. I'm preparing for chartered account. I'm preparing for IAS. I'm taking ITJ coaching, and you're reading Harry Potter. Tell me how it will help you. Why don't you read the life history of scientists? Because they are their life is what closely related. No, because you should lead a life of that kind. Harry Potter, what to do with Harry Potter? I'm not against some read novels. They'll read novels. What is novel? That one you want to become literature author? Okay, read that. That will help you. No. So read science-related life history of many persons. That will help you a lot. Oh, then you realize, oh, this is what I should be like this. The mindset will change. Even I too thought it's not like say I too thought like one fine day I'll get a knowledge, but it never happened. It never happened. I struggled to acquire this knowledge. It's not that easy. Okay, anybody interested, you can talk to my wife. She will tell like how much I struggled to acquire this knowledge. Not that easy. To speak on any subject, what happens, not that easy. So everything comes by struggle and hard work. This is what now what happened. We have reached a level where suddenly everything should happen. So wrong thing it is. Okay, not understanding. Read one time, two times, three times, 10 times, 100 times you read. What is there in that one? Take book to the bathroom. Keep it there, read it. When you are eating, okay, keep book aside and read it. What is there? What's wrong in that one? Okay, let's get into this one. Okay, I think I took almost 10 minutes advising. Okay, no. This is the very best chapter. I'm telling this one. You better Google it and look at the houses, how they construct in Northern Europe or the Canada. Best example, Canada, no? They're Northern Canada. The temperatures will be almost everything. Country will be nice. Northern Canada, not southern Canada. Southern Canada will be like India. Northern Canada will be purely like a Kashmir, Himalayas. Temperature will be very low. Okay, you look at that one, just type Northern Canada, the lifestyle there, no, you can see the way they are struggling. The heater coils, everything, their houses made up of wood, the jackets they wear. So it's a everyday struggle for them. Let's Google it. Okay, see that one. Northern parts, northern, because I think nobody is there at Antarctica. We have Greenland is there. Okay, Iceland, Northern Europe, and Northern Canada is what you can see this impact of this conduction. Okay, this like this, what happened? We have designed a formula. Okay, this one, what is the unit for H? H is what? The thermal power, amount of heat flowing per second, the meaning of that one. Okay, this I'll write it in a very simple way. This will be KAL delta T, temperature difference, or this further delta T by R. What is R? Thermal resistance, I'll call it. This analogy very important, thermal resistance. Like this is similar to current, temperature difference, potential difference, and there's a rod, and there's a thermal resistance. So similar to like a current LCD, suppose if there's a rod, it will have thermal resistance. It is a temperature T1, T2, and then heat current will flow. So this is similar to what you see in electrical resistance, potential difference V1, V2, and a current I will flow. So how you write I? Delta V by R. What you write H? Delta T by R. I think this will help us a lot, no? So why do this current will flow? Due to potential difference. Why do this heat current will flow? Though it's a power, I'll call heat current because comparing the with Ohm's law. But actually it's a power. This H is not a heat. It's not an energy. It's like a power flowing through the rod. The power flowing through the rod, I'll call that as heat current, which is equal to temperature difference by thermal resistance. Electric current is equal to electric potential by electrical resistance. Why I'm comparing this one? What all we study problems, again, the same thing I'm going to discuss in second year syllabus, current LCT. Therefore, I should compare. I should make students to think like this also. This is an analogy. Current LCT, Ohm's law. This is like a conduction. Again, don't call Ohm's law for thermal conductor because this is a power. This is a electrical power it is. This is electrical power. Also like there's a thermal power by temperature difference by resistance. But still, to compare with the Ohm's law, no, similar to current LCT, I'll call this as a heat current. Heat current equal to temperature difference by resistance. So what I'll call this one? A thermal resistance. Okay, well, sir, why you brought word resistance? So I'm now wanted to study the rod. What opposition? So what is this thermal resistance? How you define? It's a measure of opposition by the rod to the flow of heat. That is called a thermal resistance. Because this rod, what happened? Will it permit easily the heat energy to pass through it? No. How much of that opposition? That's what I'm expressing like that here. So are you getting now? So the rod, what happened? Definitely will oppose the flow of heat current. How much the measure of that opposition to the flow of heat current by the material of the rod is called like a thermal resistance. Resistance, all of you, resistance. Will the rod will permit easily? No. The heat energy will encounter some opposition by the material. That particular thing is called like a thermal resistance. So getting the idea, no? So this thermal resistance depends on what? Depends on material. So iron, low, so like a high thermal conductivity, low resistance. So if value of K is more, less resistance by the material to the flow of thermal power. If value of K is less, then more resistance. Then it will not flow easily. Okay, now I want to protect myself from cold. Tell me like a what should be the material? The woolen, if you go and check the woolen is having less thermal conductivity. It will not permit the heat to flow through easily. So therefore, I'll start wearing the woolen sweaters. In summer, so what happen? There should be flow of heat from the body to the surroundings. No, so what type of material I should use? I should use material which should permit the heat to pass through easily in summer. If I wear woolen sweaters in summer, no exchange of heat will occur. So like that happen based on the temperatures happen, we are going for the type of clothes. Based on the seasons, we should wear the type of clothes. So if I wear jeans in summer, any problem? Yes, there's a big problem because I don't know. In winter, I should wear jeans to protect. So that's why the Western countries, why they brought jeans. What is they? It's not a fashion to protect from cold. They have to survive. That's why they brought a cloth which will be thick and we should not permit the heat to flow. There's a technology what happened that they are using. Even in India, as nowadays what happened, the jeans they have come where the thermal conductivity what happens slightly we are varied it so that we can feel comfortable by wearing jeans. So therefore, if you are wearing jeans in summer, the material of jeans should be checked it. Cotton jeans, what we call. Am I right? I do have some 3/4 jeans, of which 2 are of cotton and 2 are which I can wear in winter. Okay, the one which I wear in winter, no. So that will be like a thick, means which will not permit it to flow. And the cotton jeans is which I can wear even in summer also. Like that, for tropical countries, they have brought the particular cotton jeans. Hmm? Getting the idea? So the dress what we wear no is based on season. So this keeping these things in mind. Okay, let's get into the numerical part. Okay, this is about the thing. Okay, now in the differential form, the same equation in the differential form, we write like this. Ka minus dt by dx. Why this negative sign? Because there's a temperature gradient. Or this will be dq by dt. What do you mean by negative sign? As x increases, as x increases, the temperature decreases. So therefore, a negative temperature gradient is established here. So this will be form what we'll be using in numerical. Some any integration somewhere needed, no, we'll be using this one. Both are correct. Sir, why you are not showing negative sign? This is just like a scale. You can select only magnitude I'm expressing here. Then temperature gradient. Whenever k and a are variable, you have to use this particular form. When k and a are fixed, use this particular form. Okay, what is this? Shall we call thermal power? Q by T is energy by time, heat current, or rate of flow of heat. When you use differential form, use this one. Okay, why negative sign? Negative temperature gradient. As x increases, temperature decreases. So therefore, minus dt by dx. So you can see this. Okay, if some of you are asking still. I think it's quite clear, no? At a distance x, what is the temperature? T plus dt. At a distance x plus dx, temperature is T. So dt by dx will be negative. And we are discussing steady state. So what is a steady state means? No more absorption of heat from the segments. The segments are only involved in transfer of heat. Okay, have a look on this. I'll have water. We will proceed now. Let me take two rods. They're having different thermal conductivity, temperature T1, this is T2, length L1, and this is L2. Area of cross section, let it be same. This is a junction. I want temperature of the junction. Okay, all of you, junction means the boundary. Find the temperature of the junction. It is similar to like water. Go for the fluids idea. What amount of, these are the two pipes. Capillary series parallel, can you remember? We had a similar idea now. What amount of water flows in this pipe? Same amount of water should flow in this pipe also. So what amount of heat that will flow through this rod? The same amount of heat will flow through this rod. So in fact, given condition T1 greater than T2. So the heat will flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. So according to this, what amount of heat is flowing in this rod, the same amount of heat it has to flow. Sir, how come? Assume there's a water. What amount of water per second is flowing in this pipe? The same amount of water per second should flow through this pipe because they are connected in series. The idea like this. So therefore now heat current across the first rod is equal to heat current across the second rod. So how you define heat current? Temperature difference by thermal resistance. Okay, further T1 minus T. Okay, this will be T1 R2 minus TR2 is equal to TR1 minus T2R1. Let's see that further simplification, what we get it. Okay, let me solve for T. This will be T1. What is R2? How you write it as length L2 by K2A, L1 by K1A. Okay, that K2A, K1A, that will cancel. So T1, L2, K1, T2, L1, K2 by L1, K2 plus L2, K1. Okay, this is the temperature of the junction. Okay, it's a small idea like this. So what is the basic idea? Same amount of heat current will flow across both the rods. This is very important part. Same heat current will flow across both the rods. So like this, we can calculate the temperature of the junction. So maximum all the numericals know will be using series parallel, similar to current LCT ideas, the Ohm's law. That is what we'll be applying. Okay, let's go for series parallel discussion. Okay, if the two rods are in series, so what do you mean by that? I want to replace this with an equivalent. So there's a rod K1, length L1, K2, length L2. Area of cross section, let it be same. So now So what is, it is like a, this is made up of iron. This is made up of copper. So we know copper is costlier than iron. So I want to replace this with an equivalent rod, which will be cheaper than this. So let's take steel. Steel will be cheaper than iron again. So what should be the thermal conductivity of that? So in that way, what happens? I'm going to replace the things. The same source, there is a sink, T2, T1. I want to replace with an equivalent rod such that same temperature difference and same amount of heat has to flow. Same thermal power. So what is the length of this? Let it be L1 plus L2. Area of cross section, let it be K. This is what equivalent of those two here. So let T be the temperature. Okay, we'll write like this. So what is this? What is the second diagram? Equivalent of these two. That across the source and sink, I connected two rods. They're costly. This will cost you around 200 rupees. This will cost you around, say, like a 500 rupees. Total 700. I want to replace these two with a material which will be very cheap, say 50 rupees. I think this is good, no? Such that what happens across same temperature difference, same thermal power, it flows. So what is the duty of these two rods? They will see that this much of thermal power will flow. For the same thermal power to flow, so what should be the material I should use? And if this cheaper, good, no? Like this is 200, 500, 700, there's only 50 rupees. How much I'll save? 650 rupees I'll save. I want equivalent material. Okay, therefore I'm going to search like this here. So the temperature, let me take that T. So here we can write it as T1 minus T2 equal to, no problem like this. Okay, T1 minus T2, this will become H into the resistance R. Go back to Ohm's law, potential difference equal to, so what you can write? Current into the resistance. So here, heat current into resistance R. Similarly, looking at this rod, T1 minus T, H into R1, T minus T2, H into R2. So therefore, R is equal to R1 plus R2. So how do you can say they are in series if the same thermal power flows? So rather than thermal power, no, better call heat current. If the heat current across the rods are same, they are said to be in series. What amount of water per second is flowing here? The same amount of water flows per second, then they're said to be in series. No, capillary series, the same idea is what applied here. Okay, let's do one thing. What is R? L1 plus L2 KA L1 K1A R2 L2 K2. So therefore, what is K is equal to K1 K2 L1 plus L2 by K2 L1 plus K1 L2. So what should be the material S? If this material, I'll calculate the value of K, I'll go and check the material. If it is very cheap, I'll replace these two by this one equivalent rod. I can save money. So there's a use of that series parallel. It's having wide applications, just like for us, like they are simple numericals here. Okay, what is this K? Equivalent thermal conductivity. So when two rods are in series, what is the effective resistance? R1 plus R2. Thermal resistance, not electrical resistance, they are thermal resistance. Okay, can we write this potential, this temperature difference in terms of this temperature difference? Let me bring, and this will be much easier for you. Temperature difference delta T1, temperature difference delta T2. The overall temperature difference is delta T. Okay, how delta T in terms of this we can express. So delta T1, the same heat current will flow. Delta T1, what we can write it as H into R1. And if I replace these two with an So what is H? You can write it as delta T by R. And what is R? R1 plus R2. Delta T is what? The sum of temperature difference across the individual resistors when they're in series. Across each element, you can write it, no? Delta T1 is equal to H into R1. Similarly, delta T2 equal to H into R2. What is H? Delta T by R. What is the equivalent of these two? Delta T R2 by R1 plus R2. Very important at many places. This will help us a lot. So what is use of this? If you know the temperature difference across these two resistors, means like if you know this total temperature difference, delta T, then can you calculate individual temperature difference across resistors? So use this formula. You can use this particular formula. And again, if you know R1, R2, substitute their value or let it be in terms of thermal resistance. So what is delta T1? Temperature difference across R1. What is the interpretation? Temperature difference across first rod. Delta T2, temperature difference across second rod. Okay, when they're in series, there's the method. So in series, what will happen? The same heat current flow will flow through across each rod. I'll scroll down. Okay, now we'll go for similarly parallel one. Okay, if the rods are in parallel, area of cross section, let it be same. I want to replace these two rods with an equivalent rod. Oh, this is A1, A2. Area of cross section of this A1 plus A2. So what thermal power it was flowing earlier, the same thermal power should flow across this rod. Then you can say this is the equivalent of that. H1, H2, here H. Length will be same. Okay, now these two rods are involved in flow of heat. A part of heat current will pass through here. The remaining will pass through here. I think this is like if a water is coming. So some amount of water will split here. Some remaining amount of water will flow through here. No? So when that heat current will split up or when the thermal power will split up, then the rods are said to be in parallel. Okay, these two rods are involved in transfer of heat between source and sink. Now, when I can say this is equivalent of these two, for the same temperature difference, what thermal power together these two are transferring, if the same amount of thermal power is transferred by this, then can you say that this is equivalent of this? This is definitely equivalent of this. Able to think on this one? This is equivalent of these two. So therefore now, so what is the basic condition now? The H should be equal to H1 plus H2. So what is H looking at this? Temperature difference T1 minus T2 by thermal resistance. What is H1? T1 minus T2 by R1. By R2. So 1 by R equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. What is further R? We can write it as L K A1 plus A2. This will be K1 A1 by L. K2 A2 by L. Thermal resistance. So therefore, what is K is equal to K1 A1 K2 A2 by A1 plus A2. This is effective thermal conductivity. Then what I should do? I should replace this rod with a material whose thermal conductivity will be equal to K. So what is use of this? Suppose that this will cost you around 300 rupees, 400 rupees. I want to replace these two rods by one equivalent rod. I'll find out the effective K. Then what I do is like I'll go and search the cost of this material. If it is really very cheap, only 100 rupees. This is 300, 400, 700. This is only 100. Better let me replace these two with this one. No? Equivalent. So like this, what happened in the designing stage, what happened, they will go for assuming things. But when they go for practical implementation, no, they'll go for the equivalent where they can reduce the cost, minimize the cost. Okay, this is when the rods in parallel, the effective resistance. So this will be R is equal to what you can write, R1, R2. I think this is a very popular, you know, in Ohm's law series parallel. The same thing is what applied here. Okay, now let's go this one. Suppose if there are two rods, they're in parallel and thermal power flows or the heat current is flowing here. So what will happen? A part of heat current will branch here, H1 and H2 like this. Again, the same H will emerge out. Now, what is the temperature difference? Will be delta T. Both are at same temperature difference. They are said to be in parallel. So what do you mean by parallel? If an thermal power, if it encounters a junction and where it will branch, then these two are said to be in parallel. They are said to be in parallel. Then I'm interested this H1, H2 in terms of H and R1, R2. So I'll take help of this one. H1 is equal to, so first the equivalent, let me write it. So what is H is equal to? Delta T by R. So what is H1 equal to? Delta T by R1. So delta T, what I can write it as? H into R. Substituting this now, delta T is equal to HR by R1. What is in fact R by R1? Okay, what is R is equal to? R1, R2 by R1 plus R2. Similarly, what is H2 is equal to? H2, what we can write? Delta T HR by R2. Solving this will end up. What is H1? Heat current in the rod 1. What is H2? Heat current in the rod, in the second rod of thermal resistance R2 here. So if you know the thermal power, if you know heat current, main branch current, then how to calculate the heat current in the sub branches? Directly we use this particular formula. No need to write other things. No need to use any other alternative method. So directly we can take help of this one. Okay, there's a basic idea of the parallel. Okay, it's the same series parallel what we studied. No, the same ideas are being applied here. Any doubt till now? If you have, you can ask me. Sure. Okay, no, I'll scroll down then. Okay, let's take there are I'm starting with simple idea-based problem. The temperature of this be T1, this is T2, this is T3. So I want the temperature of junction. The length of this rod be L1. All rods, let it have same area of cross section. This L2, this L3. Material, let it be K1, K2, and K3. How to calculate temperature of this junction? So let me give an idea like this: T1 greater than T2 greater than T3. All of a sudden I'm asking, it can happen. So I want the temperature of junction. Find the temperature of the junction. So what we do, let the thermal power flow like this, H1, H2, and let it be H3. Or sir, finding very difficult, sir. I'm nothing flashing for me. Okay, you do one thing. Take like this. So what is the temperature T1, T2, T3, R1, R2, R3. So the heat current here, H1, H2, H3. So what is the temperature of junction? So therefore, what is H? H is equal to H1 plus H2 equal to H3. What is this, sir? How you are writing this one? What is the meaning of this? Anybody? What is the meaning of this? I know method, sir. H1 plus H2 equal to H3. What is the meaning of this?
Kirchhoff's laws and Kirchhoff's laws was there now, sir.
Okay, you mean to say Kirchhoff's law. Okay, fine, yeah. But these are not current, no?
Heat flow gets added up, sir.
Not getting? Yeah, Gunetra, something.
Sir, heat flow gets added up, sir.
Heat flow gets added up. No, still,
Heat current.
Still, I want better answer.
Sir, due to 1 and 2 temperature difference, the heat also flows in 3, sir.
No, still I want better. Still I
Sir,
want
due
better.
to difference in T and T3, sir.
I know that. I know that. I know. Heat coming is going out, sir. Okay, Gayatri, what is that? Heat coming is going out. I just want your response, sir. Oh, you do
The
one thing.
net heat retained in the junction is 0, sir.
Okay, or you do one thing. We'll go for water. 10 liter per second, 8 liter per second. How much should come here? 18 liter per second. 10 liter, 8 liter, here you get 15 liter. What do you mean by that? 3 liter per second got leaked up. Or 10 liter, 8 liter, I'll get here 20 liter. Then 2 liter per second, from where it has come, we don't know. So therefore, what is the thing? What is this H1? It's a thermal power, energy flowing per second. So therefore, at a given junction, the net flow of heat should be 0. Means how much of thermal energy per second is entering, that much of thermal energy per second should leave. Otherwise, energy development will be created or will be destroyed. Should not happen. So this is nothing but, shall I say, law of conservation of energy principle. Simple methodology. Amount of heat entering a junction per amount of heat entering a junction per second should be equal to amount of heat leaving a junction per second, or conservation of energy principle. This is nothing but, don't call Kirchhoff's law because we don't have anything like that. So still, since we know Kirchhoff's law, okay, we'll try to equate here. So here I'll put it like a junction. Where is the junction? There's a junction. Huh? There's a junction. So at junction, amount of heat entering a junction per second should be equal to amount of heat leaving a junction per second. So what are the thermal powers that are entering? H1 plus H2, and the one which is leaving H3. What is H1? We'll write it because it will flow from high to low temperature. So therefore T1 minus T by R1. Then T2 minus T by R2. Then T minus T3 by R3. Solving for T, will get the required answer. We know length L1, L2, or I'll do one thing. I'll make a little bit easier. No? 2L, L, L by 2. Okay, we'll have values like this. It'll be easy for us. Okay, let's substitute all. Okay, we'll see what is the, we'll get it. So T1 minus T. What is R1? R1 is 2L by KE. T2 minus T2. R2 equal to L by 2KE. R3 will be L by 2 by 3KE. Okay, L by KA gets eliminated. So 2, so this will be T1 minus T by 2. This will be 2. Three by 2. Solving this, we'll get the required answer. Okay, T1 by T2. T2 plus, this should be equal to T by 2 plus 2T plus 3T by 2. This will be 4T, and this will be T1 plus 4T2 plus by 8. Is I'm okay? Check the calculation once. This will be temperature of junction. Okay, now few will get a doubt, sir. How you decide that? Why can't you write H1 plus H3 as H2? You see this, T1 greater than T2. Means why can't let it be like this? Huh? H1 plus H3 equal to H2. I think you look at the temperature of these two are greater than this. So definitely we are just assuming the heat will flow here. You solve it. Means because what about this one? If T greater than T3, then the heat will flow here. If T greater than T2, then the heat will flow here. Then you change the direction of current, no problem. Heat current. Sir, are you sure that H2 will be like this? I'm not sure. I'll calculate the value of T. If this T greater than T2, in fact, H2 will flow. No problem. Just we took algebraic sum here. Okay, like that, if you have more than 2 rods, okay, there's a method what we apply to get the temperature of at any given junction. Okay, it's all about now current density ideas. Huh? I don't know, teachers should not prefer to ask questions, but in weekend exams, no, rather than the core thermal conduction problems, no, the teacher will get deviated questions of these kind. May not, okay, this is similar to current density. Huh? They'll try to drag you to more current density ideas. So, okay, let me discuss few so that will be on better position. Let's take the next one. I will make thick. This will be. Okay, this is a length 3L by 4, L by 4. Thermal conductivity of this yellow color rod is K. 2K. Length is 3L. Area of cross section, let me make it same. It'll be easy for us. This L by 2. Thermal conductivity is K. Length 3L. Okay. K by 2, I'll write it. Now I want the effective resistance across X and Y. Look at this rod. I'm just wanted to find out. So what is this length will become? 3L by 4. This is L by 4. Here at midpoint, I'm connecting it. So shall we, so if I send any, if I maintain temperature difference, the heat will branch here, no? And what all that heat flow, the same heat will flow across. Even area of cross section, you can make it different. Huh? So timing, let me assume same area. So it'll be easy for you. If you want, okay, one rod, I'll make it 2A. So that 3A let it be, yeah. Okay, they are made a connections. Let's not bother how they're connected. Let's not bother. Okay, this is 2A, no? Let me make a little bit thick. How that connections are achieved, let's not bother about that. Huh? Okay, now get into the problem. We have to calculate effective resistance. So here I'll do one thing. This length 3L by 4. So this will have one resistance. So equivalent circuit diagram, I'll plot it here. This is the one thing. Then the lower part. This is Y, this is X, no? So call this is R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6. Symbols will take analog. It'll be easy. R3, R4. Let this be R5. Let this be R6. What is R1, R2? We don't know. How to calculate R1? R1 is equal to length 3L by 4 by thermal conductivity K, area of cross section A. And how R1, R5, R3 are? They are in series, no? We'll agree this. So what all heat current that comes will branch here. So and this same current will pass through across all these three elements, R1, R5, R3. So here the heat will branch. So therefore, this effective resistance will be in parallel with this one. And these three R1, R5, R3 are in series. So therefore, I should add up. So let me go for the upper part, R153. Let me calculate. So this will be R1, R5, R3. And what is the value of R1? 3L by 4 by K. What is R5? Length is 3L. Thermal conductivity 2K and area of cross section 2A. Next, what we get? L by 2, K by 2, A. So this will become 3L by 4K, 3L by 4K, L by K, 3, so this will be
5/2, sir.
total, yeah. Okay, this is R153. Similarly, R265. Okay, this R2 will be L by 4, L by 4 KE, R6, 3L by 2K, 3A, R5, L by 2, K by 2, E. This will be L by 4K, L by 2K, L by KE.
1, sir.
This will be 1, huh?
Yes, L by K.
How come 1 it will be? 3 by 4 plus 1, 7 by 4.
Sir, last term is L by 4K.
Oh, this is... No, how will be? 1 by 2, 1 by 2 will cancel, no?
Sir, it will be 7 by 4, sir.
7 by 4. I know a little bit maths, huh? Okay, now how these two are? How this, they're parallel. So the effective resistance Rxy should be equal to, again, they're parallel. So this will be better idea. Let me go for it. Huh? So that to minimize calculation. So R135 plus. So this will be 2Ka by 5L, 4Ka by 7L. Two by 5 plus 4 by 7. Anybody value Rxy?
35 by 34.
35 by... So this will be the effective resistance
35
across
by
this
34, sir.
34 by 35.
34 by 35, huh?
Sir, 35 by 34.
35 by 34. Okay, no. Look at now. So this is the effective resistance. So now if I give temperature difference, can we calculate how much of heat current will flow here? Okay, you have to go back that parallel we discussed, no? The parallel one. These formulas will help you. If I know what is the heat current, what is the heat current is entering here, how much of heat current in individual branches, these formulas will help us. So suppose here, if I say that 10 joules per second is entering at X, then how much of thermal power will pass through this one? So what we should use this particular formulas here. If H is heat current here, so let me give like this. How much in upper part, then how much in lower part. So can we calculate this HU? So what is H? 10 joules per second. So how much will heat will pass through this upper section? How much will pass through the lower section? So any formula, again, I'll go back to this one. HU is equal to H into resistance of lower part. So that will be R265 by total resistance. R153 plus R265. Similarly, how much of thermal power or heat current is flowing through the lower part means the total heat current that is entering the junction X by resistance of upper part, R153 by. These are the types of questions what. So here we are discussing like some current density, but in exams what happen, you get like this. They say like a 10 joules per second is entering here. then how much of heat current will pass through here? So don't say phi and phi. It depends upon this ratio. Then what is the temperature difference across this? So can we calculate temperature difference across the brown color rod? How to calculate this temperature difference? I think if you know how much of thermal power here, how much of heat current, we can calculate the temperature difference. So now I want temperature difference delta T phi. How to calculate delta T phi? So next set of problems will be delta T phi will be HU into the resistance R phi. Now I can go for temperature difference across individual elements. These are the types of this is what it is going to help us. If I know the heat current here, I can calculate the temperature difference. So now what is the type of questions what you get is like, find the temperature difference across this rod. Somehow if you can calculate the temperature difference, okay, this will be shared by these three, no? What all the temperature difference here will be shared by these two. You can go for series side here or any of this method. So I'll write it here. Delta T phi is equal to. Similarly, what is the temperature difference across this rod R6? So delta T6, you can write it as HL by R6. Like this, what happened? We can determine the temperature difference across individual elements also from this. I think like these are the types of questions which are just based on the Ohm's law, series parallel. Those ideas, if you apply, no, you'll be in better position. Okay, once again, we are discussing all the numericals where at steady state. It's quite clear now. We are discussing all the numericals open at steady state only. Or properly lagged. The rod is properly lagged. What will be the state of the rods here? None of the part of the rod will be involved in absorption of heat. What all these segments of the rod will do, of different segments of any rod, they'll be only involved in transfer of heat. No longer they'll absorb any heat. This is a very important condition. None of the rods will absorb any of the heat. They'll be only involved in absorption of heat here. So only involved in transfer of heat. That's the meaning of steady state. Now, okay, some small basics, which will really trouble you a lot in exam. At steady state, tell me like what is the mechanism in transfer of heat? Let me summarize because this will be very important for you. At steady state, what is the mechanism for transfer of heat? The vibration of atoms, because these atoms, they'll come in because these vibrating atoms in source will transfer energy to this particular atoms. So they'll also start vibrating. This vibrating atom will disturb the other atoms. So like that, initially they'll absorb heat. The different parts of the rod will attain different temperature. After some time, the rod no longer further will absorb it. Only they'll be involved in transfer of heat. So how do that transfer will take place? Because I'm vibrating. So I'll disturb the adjacent atom. I think in a class, if you sit, if one student moves like this, if he just moves, then what happens? He can push other students. No, the similar thing happens here. So due to vibration of atoms, the flow of energy will be towards right. What about electrons? The electrons will be moving randomly. Don't think that all electrons will move towards right. Net flow of energy due to electrons will be towards right. But some electrons, what happens? Few electrons will be moving here. But net flow will be towards right. If you look at any cross section, some 10 electrons, if they flow like this, some 8 electrons will flow here, but net flow of energy due to electrons will be towards right. So due to electrons, the energy will flow from sinks to source. It will also come like this, from source to sink. But net flow, what happens, will be towards right. This is very important. Atoms, they will make the energy to flow in one direction. What about electrons? They'll make energy to flow from source to sink, sink to source. But net will be, by electrons will be towards right. Because this electron can go like this and can come like this. If 10 electrons move like this, 6 electrons will move here, but net flow will be towards right. I think in more than one options, very troublesome. What students will think, the atoms will not flow. Atoms only get involved in flow of energy. What about electrons? The electrons, what happen in the form of kinetic energy, they will make the energy to flow from source to sink and also from sink to source. But net flow will be towards right. So some electrons will be moving like this, some electrons will be moving, but net flow will be towards right. Is it okay now? So this is a very troublesome for students. They think that all the electrons must flow from source to sink. No. Some 10 electrons will flow from source to sink. Some say 6 electrons will flow from sinks to source. But net flow will be towards right. So electrons, what happen? How do they transfer energy? In the form of kinetic energy. These electrons, what happen? They'll go and collide. They'll give out that heat. Again, they'll take some heat from sink and they'll come here. They'll collide. But net flow will be towards right. Atoms, they don't move. Atoms will be there only. They'll be vibrating. And due to that vibration, the energy will get transferred. Electrons, in the form of kinetic energy, they'll transfer. So in fact, the electron will be going like this. And it will be like this. So try to imagine. This imagination is very, very important. Okay, no, so this is about the basics I just gave today. So tomorrow we'll just go for all the application problems related to this. You can slowly work out numericals based on this. You start reading, because this week we have conduction, convection, radiation, where the lengthy problems are plenty. So today you can focus on series, parallel, and what all you know, current density, Wheatstone bridge, series, parallel, all what all you know, you can apply it and work out numericals related to that. Okay, I'll stop the class here. Evening we'll meet for paper discussion. Okay, yeah, thank you all of you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.